The year is 2006, and Kirby Squeak Squad has just been released on the Nintendo DS. Kirby Squeak Squad was the first mainline Kirby game and second Kirby game overall to appear on the Nintendo DS. Does it hold up to the Game Boy Kirby standard, or is this the beginning of the end for the pink puffball? Let's find out. One day, Kirby decided he wanted to sit down and have a snack. He went to eat his strawberry shortcake when all of a sudden, it got stolen. Kirby suspects that it had to be King Dedede who stole his cake, so Kirby is bound and determined to get it back from him. When Kirby storms Castle Dedede, he defeats him. When he goes to take his cake back, he realizes that it's not there, and that the true culprits of the robbery were the Squeaks the whole time. Kirby chases the Squeaks to get the treasure that they stole back, so that he may get his strawberry shortcake back. After defeating DeRoach, their leader, he drops the treasure chest containing the cake. At that moment, Meta Knight swoops in and steals the chest, making Kirby have to chase after Meta Knight now. Seeing nothing weird about a guy who wanted to stop the lazy lifestyles of the denizens of Dreamland stealing a cake for his own personal gain, Kirby defeats Meta Knight and gets the chest back. At that moment, DeRoach swoops back in and takes the chest. He opens the chest, expecting to find treasure, but what he finds instead was a dark cloud forming over him coming from the chest. Meta Knight knew that the chest didn't contain treasure or a cake. It contained a sealed away evil that would be released if the chest were ever opened. Kirby chases Dark DeRoach through the Gamble Galaxy where he finally defeats him. Once defeated, the Dark Cloud's form comes to fruition, revealing Dark Nebula, a dark star-like creature with an eye like dark matter. Kirby defeats Dark Nebula and flies back down to Dreamland, happy that he saved the world. But what of that cake though? The story of this game is phenomenal and feels like a proper evolution of the Kirby stories that have come before it. It starts with something very simple that spirals out of control as the game goes on. I find it really funny that this entire adventure, Kirby dealing with the Squeaks, releasing Dark Nebula, and defeating him, all happened because Kirby just wanted his cake back. That's hilarious. I also really like that you don't know what actually happened to the strawberry shortcake. If you look closely in the intro cutscene, you can see that the shadow that passes by the cake as it is getting stolen is actually that of a Waddle Dee. So maybe it actually was King Dedede who got the cake after all. Cheeky bastard. The only complaint that I have about this game's story is, just like Kirby in the Amazing Mirror, the final villain of the game is a bit lame. Dark Nebula just being a star with an eye on it and that's it is honestly kinda lame. With all that in mind, Kirby Squeak Squad's story gets my rating of an A. The gameplay of Kirby Squeak Squad is your standard Kirby fare. You run, you jump, you eat, you copy. There's not a lot more to it than that. I'm not kidding. Gameplay-wise, there really is nothing different between this game and Nightmare in Dreamland. I guess the only real difference is the bottom screens mechanic. There are bubbles with stuff in them that you can find around the levels. These can contain abilities, health items, and little Kirbys. The interesting thing about these bubbles is that you can combine them. If you combine two abilities together, you will get a new ability at random. If you combine health items, you could potentially work it up to a maximum tomato. If you combine 3 tiny Kirbys together, you get an extra life. This aspect of the game is good for getting a kajillion 1-ups, but that's about it. I don't really feel like it adds much to the game. With all of that in mind, Kirby Squeak Squad's gameplay gets my rating of a B+. Just like Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, there really isn't a lot that separates this game from the previous titles. What this game does have over Amazing Mirror, however, is that it has more original characters and it also contains cutscenes. These two small differences literally made this game's presentation amazing. When it comes down to it, Kirby and the Amazing Mirror has 3 main characters in it: Kirby, Meta Knight, and Darkmind. That's it. This game not only has Kirby and Meta Knight, but they have King Dedede, the Squeaks, and Dark Nebula. The game feels more like a Kirby game where the world exists, if that makes any sense. The cutscenes have such beautiful pixel art that I wish more Kirby games had. The music in this game, peak. Though, once again, not as memorable as I'd like it to be. I can't really say there are any standout tracks in the game. The only one that I can recall off the top of my head is Here Comes the Squeaks, which is a banger, by the way. With all of that in mind, Kirby Squeak Squad's presentation gets my rating of an A. To complete Kirby Squeak Squad, you must collect all 120 treasure chests hidden throughout every level. This is not hard to do at all, and it gives you some cool stuff in the process. You can get Kirby skins, special songs in the sound test, a boss rush mode, secret levels, and even unlock a room that has every copy ability primed and ready to go, including one exclusively found in that room, Ghost Kirby. Finding all of the treasures was so easy that I literally didn't even have to consult a walkthrough once to find any of them. Due to all this, I 100% recommend completing this game. Kirby Squeak Squad is a good Kirby game, and that's about it. It is a quick and fun experience that will make any Kirby fan happy. Unfortunately though, I feel like the experience is a bit too short for my liking. This results in the game making itself feel like a non-memorable experience. I feel like I finished this game just as I started it. With all of that in mind, Kirby Squeak Squad gets my overall rating of an A. Definitely a great game, just wish it was a bit longer. Thank you everyone so much for watching this video, and I hope you guys enjoy the new format of the retrospectives. If you liked what you see, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell. All the social media are in the description below, so check them out as well. We also got merch in the description. Next week, we will be looking at the next Kirby game in the lineup, Kirby Superstar Ultra. But if you're too impatient to wait a week, you can become a channel member and watch it right now. I'm Bottles, and I bid you, my well-esteemed guests, adieu.